Yo, what's going on, boys? I'm back. So today, we're gonna roll this blunt. So, I'm gonna roll a blunt real quick. Just went and picked up my gas. You all saw in the last video that I was actually talking about picking up my gas. This is the same day, of course. So just wanted to pick some gas up today. Apparently it's supposed to be good. I'm hopeful. Haven't really ate yet, though I should. I probably won't eat for a while, just because I'm just not really hungry at the moment. But I got something I also wanted to talk about because this is the same day type of thing. So this shit pisses me off, but like I genuinely do. I will always say this: Threads is the worst social media app of all time, 100%. I just got off of there, and there was a woman who was talking stupid shit. She was like, you know, I don't think he gave me a half ounce. I think he gave me a full fucking ounce. Like, when I'm looking at it, it looks like an ounce. And I really hope it isn't, because I only paid for a half ounce. But anyway, my point here is today is that I just got off of Threads, and there was some stupid bitch that was on there, and she was like, I just got scammed at the dealership today. And I was like, ooh, dealership scam. I love listening to these stories, because they're usually either true and really, really fucking good and juicy, pause, or they're just really dumb and really fucking stupid people. So that's what we're gonna get into. I had to blow my nose real quick and then put this weed in the grinder. That's why I had to kind of stop it real fast. But so this stupid ignorant bitch, she comes on there and says, I got scammed today at the dealership. I'm like, ooh, I want to see how. So I get reading. She didn't get scammed. She's just fucking stupid. And she was like, dealerships are scams. They charge me $600 a day for 4 tires and alignment. They scammed you? That's a fucking deal. I wish I only had to pay $600 for 4 tires and a fucking alignment after tax and shop tax and everything. I fucking wish. I went to Firestone and I paid like $1,000 to get 4 tires and mount balance and alignment. Are you fucking nuts? She's like, well, I'm like, you paid $600? That's a fucking steal. It's a steal, bro. Coming from somebody who is a service advisor and knows the prices of these things. That is a fucking steal, okay, guys? That's a steal. That means that she got every tire for either $100 or a little bit less, which means she got shitty fucking tires probably, which means they're not very good high quality. The tread depth probably isn't very great. And the warranty on it is probably around 50, 55, maybe 60,000 miles rather than like a $75,000, $75,000 mile warranty. So she probably got some cheap ass tires and a mount and balance and alignment done. Things you need, you know what I mean? You need tires, you need to get them mount and balanced, of course, which is going to cost you something, and you got to get everything aligned, or else you're going to have problems with your car for, X amount of time until you fix it. So she says, oh, I got scammed, and people in the comments are like, oh yeah, you did get scammed. You people have either never been to a dealership before, or you're all just really fucking cheap, because I have been to a place much less bigger in the size of it, at least, than a dealership, and I've spent more. I've been to a dealership and spent less. I'm just saying, and it also depends on what car you have too. Now, keep in mind, she had a Ford. Now, me being that I worked at Ford for a while, I know that's a pretty damn good price. Honestly, really is. If she would have went to Mercedes, they would have told her at least $1,000 job, at the very fucking least. 4 tires, mount, balance, and alignment probably would have been around almost $1,200, because they would have charged her for more expensive, higher quality tires. Not every tire on there is higher quality. Just because it says that, it's not always true. Now, she's stupid. She thinks she got scammed. A lot of people in the comments think she also got scammed, but she really, truly did not. This is coming from someone that worked in the industry. Like, I know, dude. Like, I'm not stupid. And either somehow think the mechanics are the ones that are, like, scamming you out of things more than anybody else inside of the dealership industry, you're a fucking joke. As someone who was a service advisor and knew a lot of people in sales and knew the ins and outs of the dealership, I can tell you right now, the biggest scammers in a dealership are either A, service advisors, or B, the car salesman. That's a fact. I don't want to have an argument against it, because that is a guaranteed fact. Mechanics can do that. However, most of the time when mechanics, at least in my experience, when mechanics say they need X, Y, and Z on certain things, I have another person kind of check in, or I have like a lot of people that had like apprentices that were with them, and they usually said the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because the apprentices are hourly most of the time. They're not really flat rate, so they're only getting paid by the hour. They're not getting paid by the job, so they're not like, oh yeah, well it's guaranteed on this. They're just getting paid by the hour, you know what I mean? So they're not really caring. But like, you're gonna get scammed either by a service advisor or a salesman before a mechanic. It is guaranteed. Almost, for the most part. I had techs all the time that were really good that would say, hey, you know, these people need X, Y, and Z. I'm like, why do people need X, Y, and Z? Is it just because you're saying so? They'd be like, no, check this out. And they'd show me every single reason as to why they need X, Y, and Z. Not just some random belief they have. They would say, hey, X, Y, and Z is bad, so it needs A, B, C. I'd be like, hell yeah, dude, appreciate you, right? But us as service advisors, if anybody out there is a service advisor listening to this, you're going to agree with me on this. The first thing they tell you when you're getting the job is to be as stingy and as greedy as a motherfucker. It's a fact. Because when I was getting the job, before I even got in fully, the manager or the service director at the time was telling me that I needed to be a greedy bastard, willing to dig into poor people's pockets if it meant getting me a little bit extra money and the company extra bit of money. I'm not doing that, first of all. I never actually agreed to doing that. Secondly, they send you a test after you get accepted, which you have to take, and you have to seem like a greedy bastard in order to pass. That's the only reason why I passed, because I had to seem like a greedy bastard to get the job. Now, when I actually got the job, I wasn't that. I'm in a dishonest business making an honest living, or I was trying to at least. Too much dishonesty, too much of a scam, too much fraud going on. I'm not being a part of that, hence why I left. Service advising is also known to be the hardest job in the dealership because you are always the middleman. Always. You're the middleman for mechanics and techs. You're the middleman for people and what else is going on between the manager. You're the middleman between techs and salesmen, the person, and you. Like, you're always the middleman. And it's hard to always be the middleman because that means you have to have the knowledge to know everything, but also like how you're supposed to know everything and everyone, how everything's supposed to go, the process, everything, right? So it's harder to be the service advisor. But to say that a tech is the one who scammed you out of your money is fucking hilarious because you have no idea what you're talking about. The tech can say, hey, she has Pirellis on, but I'm going to recommend Firestone. So, okay, well, let's see what they want to recommend. Or I'll be like, hey, you have good, you have better, good, and decent. You have better, best, and then you have good, right? So you'd have better, best, and good. Good is usually obviously a more cheaper version. Better being the best at being the absolute best one you can get. Best, better, good. Better, best, good, something like that. It was best, better, and then good. Sorry. I may have switched it up a little bit. But it was best, better, than good. And everybody would always say they wanted the better ones or the good ones. No one really ever wanted the best ones or the ones they already had on their car, which was weird. You figure you would want that, but a lot of people said no, which was strange. So you probably ended up getting 4 cheap-ass tires, probably some like fucking Falcons or something way cheaper, which is weird. And you got a mount balance alignment for like 600 some bucks. That's a fucking steal. I can tell you the biggest, like some of the... Ford is starting to get bad with this, but Mercedes is probably the worst car company I've ever been a part of. And I'm going to tell you why. So the Ford that I worked at started raising their rates after Mercedes did. Mercedes raised their rates from about $189.99 all the way to about $200 some. And during that time from when I was there and then I went to Ford, they raised their rates from $169 all the way to $190, which was insane. Now they're starting to get to the point where they're competing with Mercedes. A fucking domestic brand is competing with a foreign luxurious brand, which is insane. As far as like labor rate and shit like that, like for like evaluation fees and diagnosis and shit like that, yes, it's insane. But it's like the worst people to work for is Mercedes, 100%. Like, or the worst dealership to be a part of is Mercedes. Next to like Nissan and Ford. I mean, the stories I heard about Nissan aren't too totally bad, but I can tell you how bad the Nissan is. I was never a part of it, but I can tell you how bad Nissan is. Nissan, at least where I was at, had transmissions in stock. Transmissions in stock. They would have transmissions, fully built transmissions in their stock, in their inventory, because they would go up so much and they were so dog shit. That's why Nissan's bad. Ford's bad because, well, it's different to say on this one because it's just you either have to go full or you have to go where you're at in your area. Now, I'm going to go based off of where I was in my area, why I think it's so bad. Labor rate, way too expensive. Warranties, ridiculous to deal with. The people that they hire and employ, fucking insane. I mean, the place that I was at, I'm not kidding you. There was a gentleman that had worked there before me. I'm not going to say his name, not going to say too much. I'm going to say just one little bit about him. He was apparently a good dude, really good guy, decent salesman, for service. And apparently he went out, got drunk one night with him, buddy, girlfriend, and his girlfriend, of course. His girlfriend was in the passenger seat, had no seatbelt on, no nothing on, and he drove and he hit a fucking pole. She goes flying out. She's deceased. He goes to jail over it. They fought harder for him to get out of jail to come back to work than he did for me to get basic training, guys. I'm not kidding you. They fought harder for a convicted felon, a man who unalived someone and unintentionally, but also somewhat intentionally, because you should never have somebody in your car that's not buckled up. Simple as that. Not on top of that, you should be drinking and driving. Simple as that. Big no-nos that you should have known not to do, right? Well, obviously the man's in jail, the person's gone, his life is probably fucked up for the rest of eternity, at least for him. And I'm not saying he's a bad dude because of that. I'm just saying I think it's fucking insane how they fight harder for a guy that did all this shit to come back to work, but they won't fight for me to get basic fucking training. Like, it's just that the guy is probably decent, cool, whatever, good person, good salesman for service and whatever, but does that negate the fact that I'm there and I'm basically the exact same thing, but I'm better? And then you're also going to tell me that you won't fight for me on shit, but you'll fight for this guy in court? Like, come on now. They were housing people in there. Not housing, really, but they were like, they had people inside the facility that were threatening women, threatening to beat up people all the time, just using super abusive language for no fucking reason. Super racist, super sexist. I had a guy who threatened to fight me over me asking for a VCM. It was a VCM. I had to get a VCM with the laptop and everything for it, but we didn't have it at the Quick Lane shop. So we had to get it at the main shop, which is really just a walk over. One of my techs said they wouldn't let him have it. I went over there and was like, I need this. Can I please have it? This dude said no and told me to fuck off or he would come and kill me. And I said that I wanted him to do that, and me and him almost got into a fight over that. I'm not kidding you. I almost got into fights with people at Ford because of how assholish they are. Not everybody was. There were some cool guys out there. You had Ryan, you had Joey, you had this other guy, I forgot his name, but he was a super cool dude. He almost reminded me of like a dad, like an uncle or a dad. He really did. He was a cool ass guy. But a lot of them in there, dickheads. There was one guy who threatened to fight me because I walked in there asking him a question. I was like, I got a question for you on this. And he was like, okay. And I asked him, he was like, are you fucking stupid? And I was like, I don't know, are you? Can you answer the question? He was like, what do you want to do, fucking fight about it? And I was like, yeah, I'm down to fight. I'll lose my job right now over this shit. Obviously, it didn't go down that way, but I was willing to go for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, you're also not gonna sit there and bitch me around like some fucking, like some prick either, dude. Fuck out of here with that. But it's just, I think it's crazy that, like, people, like, they get jobs off of that. And, like, Ford they just don't give a fuck. And their training program is the worst training program out of any fucking dealership ever. It's the fucking I didn't look at every single thing, but from what I was told specifically, it's either 200 to 300 hours. The fuck is that shit? The fuck is that stupid shit? Anyway, that just threw me off. Just fucking threw me off. But the training shit they were telling me is either 200 to 300 hours of online training. Online. Watching videos. Answering multiple choice questions. And then I have to wait like 6 months to do all that. And then I'll get approved to get my fucking guarantee off. Come on, man. Y'all were frauding me from the fucking beginning. Out of nowhere, y'all gave me random fucking shirts. 6 shirts for $300 fucking dollars. $50 per shirt that fucking ripped easy and got dirty as shit. Y'all are lucky I paid y'all back and I don't like having to owe people money, bro. Because if I really didn't care about y'all, I want to pay y'all that money. Y'all could have garnished that shit out of my next paychecks. I wouldn't even. But it's just like, y'all are so fucking weak. as a car company. It's fucking unbelievable. Now you're starting to get Mustang and all that shit that's about to branch off. So now y'all are about to just be a strictly like car and truck brand thing of just like escapes and shit like that, and then trucks. Like, you guys have really lost it. Ford has lost it in the last, I don't know how long, but Ford has lost their mind. Not to mention the sole fact being that y'all were supposed to take me off my guarantee. Y'all were supposed to take me off my guarantee 2 weeks before I quit, and y'all were telling me it was gonna be out another 6 months. Fuck no. Y'all are dickheads. Fuck you. Point is, though, is that the worst one to go to is Mercedes. Mercedes is the worst. Honda's the best. Honda has the best people, the best salesmen, the best service, the best techs, the best cars, the best training, the best labor rates. Everything at Honda is guaranteed to last. Like, the the service director when I was the service manager when I was at Honda training, Lori, shout out Lori, shout out Jess, shout out Terry, shout out Ryan, shout out fucking Greg, shout out Leah, and shout out Lexus, shout out all y'all, bro, because y'all were the best motherfucking people I ever dealt with in a dealership. Y'all were the best, 100%. But no, Honda's the best one. They had the best training, the best people, the best cars, the best techs, the best warranty times, the best everything. They have a whole labor rate sheet of how to go off of things because of how service is built into the cars for them. It says, I have this, it needs to be done. There's a whole list of things that says it needs to be done, and you go get them done. It's the best fucking place to go to. But the worst is Mercedes. Mercedes is starting to get to the point now where they don't even have dipsticks in their cars anymore, so you can't even check your oil. The brakes on the fucking Mercedes nowadays, they go up every 15, 20,000 miles, and I know that because I had a woman in there. Okay, she had just got this car. She was at 10,000 miles on these fucking brakes. She had only about 10,000 miles on them. I think it was about 7 to 8 is what she was at. It was between those. But then she said, I drive a lot with this car. We'll see what happens. 2 weeks later, she comes back in. My brakes are all acting weird. Yeah, you have to get your brakes replaced. And she was confused as to why, because it's cheap. They're cheaply made. The products fucking suck. The German engineering is not that fucking great. Y'all can say it is, but I don't see it. And Mercedes itself, it's some of the worst engineering I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not even an engineer, but I can just tell y'all that it's fucking insane. I had people coming in every 20,000 miles because their brakes were going bad. I had people saying, I don't know what my oil's at because I don't have a dipstick to check it. It's weird, bro. Or like how when you come in and you say, hey, my car's saying I need a B service. What does that mean? Okay, well, B service means you need to get all this done, and we're going to pretty much press you on every single fucking issue to get it all done because we're greedy and we're son of a bitches and we want to be expensive and luxurious. And then people are like, well, you know, I'm not that rich. I don't understand why I'm having to get all this done. This is a luxury brand. I paid top of the line. Should it be top of the line? I'm like, sorry, but you paid way too much money for something that isn't going to last you all that much. You should have went out and got a Honda for $30,000, $35,000 that'd last you 300,000 miles. This ain't going to last you that. Sorry, but the parts on here also just fucking suck, and they're not as helpful. Like, I had people coming in all the time. Brakes need to be changed. 20,000 miles, 15,000 miles, 17,000 miles, 25,000 miles. Brakes need to be replaced. Insane shit, dude. The warranties on them were fucking ridiculous. I mean, fucking ridiculous, dude. Everything in Mercedes is also made cheap as fuck. Like, we had a woman who came in. Their names, started with a K. Kettlemans, something like that, right? But it was started with a K, and I was trying for over a week to help them and be the nicest I could be, and was like, you bought an expensive car, but it does not mean it's top of the line material. I was telling them that, hey, you had to, like, this clip that comes up for the weather mat, we have to order it, and it has to come all the way from Germany. They bring it over here. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to be a few days. Well, this is stupid. I don't understand. It comes in. We did that. We got her some touch-up paint. And then it was a thing with her cameras on her car. Her cameras were really fucking cheaply made, okay? But here's the thing, is that she was saying that the cameras opening or closing, you could hear it so loud, it sounded like that like when you have stuff in the back of a car and then you make a really hard turn, you hear all that shit crash in the back and you're like, oh, like you make that face, you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, dude. But point is that you make that face, right? She said she'd make that face every single second, even if she was turning, coming to a stop, not doing anything. She said she would hear noises like that. Well, we took it out for a test drive. We didn't hear anything like that. We heard it opening and closing, but it wasn't loud. You turn the music up on like 10 or 15, you couldn't even hear it. She was just lying, right? Families are weird. But, like, they're cheaply fucking made. When you come on the outside, yeah, you can hear them. But it's just because they're all made of plastic. You're going to hear them open and close. It's a safety feature. It's a little bit stupid, but that's the way it is. And she was complaining that something's wrong with them to the point where she literally told us to open up a fucking case with Mercedes itself. Like, call over in Germany and be like, yo, big dog, got a case for you. I need you to check it out. Sending it in your email. Now, you probably wouldn't get back to that bitch until like 2045, bro. End of the fucking world by then. But, like, these car dealerships suck. I get it. But people also suck in the sense saying that they're getting scammed by them. I agree that car dealerships are a bit of a scam. They are. Especially the way that pricing is on some of these things now. I get it. Right? But you're also not going to tell me that it's a scam to get 4 tires of mount, balance, and alignment for $600. You're fucking nuts. You just need to chill the fuck out because you're tripping hard. That's a great fucking deal. Like, when we had that deal in March where it was buy 4, get the fourth one for $1, I had people coming in to get that done, and it was still more expensive for that deal, the way that I did it, for 3 tires and then the fourth one for $1, mountain balance and alignment. It was more expensive for that than the deal that she got, and she's complaining that she got fucking scammed. Either she's cheap or she's just a fucking moron. Sorry to say it. The fuck is that shit, man? Get that the fuck out of here. The fuck? Ignorant fucking mutt. Fucking snap. See, if I could record on my actual phone and then not just go to a blank black screen, I would do it. But I have to do it on Snapchat, so stupid shit like that keeps coming up. Fuck off, dickhead. But no, bro, like, car dealerships are scams, but for the most, like, for a lot of parts of it, people are just really fucking stupid. So when you see people say, like, hey, I went to fucking Ford and they charged me $1,000 for this work, it's like, okay, well, what did you get done? How bad was it? How much did the parts cost? Labor rate. All these things matter. When you go to a dealership, you're saying, hey, I'm willing to spend money to make sure it's taken care of because warranties and shit like that, in case that does happen, they'll take care of it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, then you take it to a mom and pop shop and it gets cheaper and you're like, damn, I should just always bring it here. Then always take it there. Take it. We don't care. I don't give a fuck. The dealerships don't give a fuck. But when you bring it to a dealership and you're saying you're in charge an arm and a leg, depends. It just really depends. That's kind of the end of my rant, because if I go any longer, I'm probably going to start getting really fucking amped up, and I really want to smoke this good old fucking blunt we rolled up here. So we're going to smoke the blunt. We might make another video. I'm going to upload the other one here in a minute, get this one edited and post this one, and we'll have 2 for the day. We'll do a 2 for 1. How about it, boys? We'll do a 2 for 1 for the day. But I'm done, boys. I'm hopping off. I'm going to smoke me some fucking Mary Jane. Have me a good rest of my night. Record a little bit more if I want to. Play the game. Enjoy my fucking food tonight as well. And I'm done, boys. I'll catch you later. Peace.